You can deconstruct a technology with your mind just by looking at it.
And they're trying to figure out how to live forever, how the human body does that. Can you speak to us a little
The
bit more?
human body was never designed to deteriorate. That's programmable.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You got something called the human aging hormone. It's a lady to show you how it works named Cynthia Kingman. She's a PhD out of the UCLA Berkeley gerontology program.
Mm.
The human body was designed to live eternally, but we get tired of these things. We want to look different. I want a body this year, this lifetime, where I can lift a lot of weight. But the next body, I don't want one of them big, but I want one that I can run far distances. Jumping avatars is all we call it.
Wow. Like super soldiers?
Yeah. Look, every time we jump avatars, we write a book of life.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So when we get in the avatar, how well can you live your book of life?
Mm.
Right? Ain't nobody here by accident. Ain't nobody here by chance.
No.
It's only those who choose to wake up and those who fight it the hardest. You know, like some people don't like to get out the bed.
Oh, yeah.
When you try to wake them up, they be ready to fight.
Mm.
Look, in prison, we got a rule. Don't wake nobody up because you don't know what they're going to do when they wake up.
Oh, wow. Wow. And
if you got to wake your bunkie up, you're supposed to step outside the cell.
Okay. So when you say the avatars, we're back to what we're talking about. These avatars. You heard of the string theory with Michio Kaku? Like he says, there's infinite dimensions and different realms.
Yeah, that's what the show Sliders is about.
Okay, so that is something that's actually
parallel dimensions. You can see parallel dimensions sometimes if your third eye is open. But the wavelength that a parallel universe right next to you is the outside of your light spectrum, so you can't see it. It's still there. It's still visible, but it's not visible in the light spectrum you're looking in. Mm-hmm. You have to learn how to shift your consciousness in order to see the neighboring timeline. Because the consciousness wavelength you own is designed to see the consciousness in this one timeline. But the mind has the ability, they call it being psychic, clairvoyant, to look down many different timelines to find the answer to the trajectory of the timeline you own. They call that giving you a prophecy.
Right.
It's timelines.
Like Interstellar.
Yeah. And you learn how to navigate your timeline by your mama teaching you how to navigate life. If she don't teach you correctly, you're going to make all the mistakes in the world till you figure it out. But if she teach you correctly, you might make a couple mistakes. They might be big as hell because you're not going to make no little ones.
Right.
See, so, but we always take whatever mama give us is the foundation that we build our life on. Most of us don't understand that, good or bad. And some of us came down here to be treated like shit until we get our shit together.
Did they choose that?
It's in your book of life. Right. You can't experience a reality that you didn't agree to experience. It won't exist.
Right.
So we write these books of lies, then we weave them together so we can have company while we live in it. But we all come from one central consciousness.
Yeah.
We just travel different wavelengths to get here.
And what you call I don't know if I missed you saying this before or even tonight. What is we are one with the power, or what do you think of as is there a God that is above or more powerful than you, in your opinion?
In the universal mind, all things exist.
Right.
We are just a laptop. Mm-hmm. Our short-term memory is a RAM. Our long-term memory is a hard drive. Our infinite memory is the cloud. The universal consciousness.
Yes.
we all have access to it, but most of us too lazy to do what's required to access it because of the amount of focus and concentration through training yourself to do it. That come into it. We would rather try to live by somebody else's standard than make our own way. So we let other people tell us how to live our book of life instead of living the book of life that we wrote when we came. But that's also part of the conversation of, is it free will or is it predestination? Because the predestination part comes by you haphazardly following your book of life because you're still going to get to the final chapter. You're just going to do it haphazardly. But the one who chooses and applies his willpower is a straight and progressive growth. You got to start from somewhere, though.
So do you say, I want to ask you, would you say, or can you talk to me about, or us about, when you're in that, when you're outside of this material self, or okay, and you are, I guess, in between, you said jumping from avatar to avatar, are you realizing outside of self, the body, outside of flesh, oh, that's just, I could just jump from another avatar anyway. So once you're in, talk to me, like, is that particular spirit or whatever that is, that energy inside of us when we're not motivated, is it saying, well, this isn't anything anyway, I can move on?
Outside the body, we are what's called neuter gender light beings.
Yes.
Right? We have no emotions because the light is pure data. It's all information. But the wavelength of the information is feminine, a feminine wavelength. They call it wisdom. When we learn how to use it, it becomes wisdom.
Right.
Right? That's the masculine expression of it, though. The feminine expression of it is unconditional love. And that's when you connect the two, takes the highest frequency of man can reach. That's what they call your God status or your Christ mode.
I was going to say that. That's Christ.
Right. Because now you took your RAM, overrode the hard drive, and plugged straight into the universal consciousness in order to just answer the question.
I'm getting a little emotional right now from that. You hit it right there. You know, that right there. Let's stay on that, because this is the Christ mode that you said. It's the unconditional love put together with the wisdom.
Yeah.
And that unconditional love includes being humble or sacrificing, right?
Look, sacrifice is a misunderstood concept.
Talk to us about it.
Sacrifice is what you're willing to give up in order to help somebody with no return on investment. Very few people are willing to give anything up with no return on investment.
Come on. There you go.
But the side effect,
let me ask you, that's the Christ? We're still in the Christ, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go on, because you're feeding everybody, but this is what I'm getting the chills. So
you got to get to that level. Right? This understanding that a sacrifice is to be able to not always look for something when you do something good. You do it because it's who you is. You don't do it because somebody watching.
Come on.
This is my next photo op. You do it because that's who you are. And the side effect of that is you open up the channels of reciprocity. Right? Now, the reciprocity, even when you're not looking for it, brings you the gift. And then you kick in something called gratitude. Because you didn't have to pay me for it because I didn't ask you for nothing.
See. Come on.
Now, the frequency of the being is rising, but we don't have that understanding because we stuck on the money and the power.
Come on.
Instead of seeking the money and the power, seek your highest self. Your best expression of who you are is your higher self.
Yes.
If somebody asks you a question and you don't know the answer, ask yourself why. Why you don't know the answer? It is going to make you say, well, let me go find an answer.
This is beautiful.
And after you go through life of people asking you questions that you don't know the answer to, and you go seek the people who had the answer in order to understand the answer, that's called looking at it in stages and degrees. You're building yourself up, using other people's curiosity as fuel for your growth. When you get to a certain level and you see stuff that other people didn't see because they was asking you and you didn't have the answer. But now that you done went to find all of the answers that they was asking you, put it all together. When you put it all together, you give it back to the people.
And are you acting like you are God when you do that, right? You're a God when you acting that way, when you do those acts?
You're the vessel for God. You are the hands. You are the right hand. You're the tool that God used to help others because you're in your highest form.
I love it.
One of the biggest misconceptions is being misused. People will be like, oh, they was using me. Be thankful that you was useful.
Oh, wow. What about the ones who want to use you up?
That's misusing you.
Okay.
They using, if you use somebody out of context or purpose, that's misusing them.
Yes.
But if they're useful and they willing to be useful, use them. But respect what you use because you might need it again.
That part.
Because it was useful.
And what it's because there's reciprocity going on, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
But if you offended for somebody using you, then you mad because you was useful. You gonna try to be useless.
Oh, wow. That's good. I like that. Yeah. You should be glad that you're useful.
Yeah. But just because you agreed to let somebody use you, you shouldn't feel no way about it. Because you should know where to draw the line. You ain't got to be a doormat. That thing that I will not do, and I don't care how many times you ask me, my answer's still going to be no.
I need the boss. Oh, wait, please, Chief Hayes.
No is a superpower.
Chief Hayes, I say this, and I want you to talk to us about submission. I'm an advocate for submission, but then people misunderstand. I tell the ladies, the sisters, I say, you're not a toilet, you're not a doormat, and you're not a buffet. Because it's not going to be a buffet, it's going to be a smorgasbord, right? You bring something, a potluck. So talk to us about submission. Does submission mean, really, I want you to talk to the other brothers.
Look, submission
to be a doormat?
I don't want no woman that's a doormat. I want my woman to be able to say, no, that don't make sense. Because if we do it that way, this is what's going to happen.
Sakina, you heard that?
Her sitting down because I told her to do it, talking about, yep, and we ride off a cliff. Because I thought I knew the map. And she got the map in her hand.
Oh, my God.
Listen,
that's
teamwork make the dream work.
Talk.
Don't misunderstand submission, meaning I agree with your plan. I'm going to follow the instructions that's going to help you to capitalize on the plan. The problem is, don't nobody got no damn plan and want somebody to bow down to their orders.
Okay.
And strong-willed people is going to rebel. That's nature. You can't take it out of nature. And a lot of women, after they've been through so much, become so strong-willed. They don't want to hear that bullshit. Excuse my language.
Wow.
They don't want to hear it. Tell me the plan. I don't care how much money you got. Tell me the plan. Where we gonna win at?
because she's there to be there with him as one. If she sees it, she wants to be able to say, I think I know a better way, right? It's not putting him down, right?
Teamwork. The guy, you can't be intimidated by your woman. Her feminine emotions can tell you stuff about your plan that you can't see with your intellectual logic. Use it to your advantage. Don't be offended by it.
Right.
Ooh.
See, and that's what I like when you said that listen, I'm behind half us. But because sacrifice don't mean something gotta get killed, right? And I like when you was going into the sacrifice, because when a lot of people are doing just that, when they doing it for the vibe, right? They showing they doing the giving somebody something, and they doing it with the camera and showing that they doing something for somebody, or they making sure they tell somebody they did something for somebody, and all of that. And that's not doing something for somebody. That's doing that for you. You see,
That's when they're looking for personal glory.
Exactly. So when you give somebody the shirt off your back, it's because you're doing it for that person. You see, and so that's that sacrifice, and you're willing to do that just for that. And so
that's when the love don't have conditions attached to it.
And you wasn't looking for nothing in return. So you're dropping all kind of gems.
Yeah.
And
we learn unconditional love from mama.
Yes, and so
but she don't have to suckle us.
It's a lot of men out here just in the chat just throwing it, and it was something else you said, because when they say men think logically and women think emotionally, but it was something that you said about just the condition of it all. So the way you said it is, when we think of it that in that aspect, it's just a thought process altogether. And it's not saying that women or men think emotional or logically and women think emotionally. It's just the thought of it. You see what I'm saying?
It's the nature of feminine and the nature of masculine are not the same.
No, it's not. But when you take the initiative, right, and just the condition of the thought itself, right, to say, listen, I have to put her in this perspective and make this best choice. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm a man enough to put her here, and I'm cool with myself. And that is a whole condition.
Mm-hmm.
Condition. You see what I'm saying?
And that's why I say they miseducate us about relationship roles.
You see,
because if a man learned how to capitalize on the feminine aspect of his woman, he can't be stopped. He can literally walk on water at that point.
Yes. And so we as women need to appreciate, and men, you honor that, and that's what makes it work. And so that is teamwork and making dreams working. You see what I'm saying? So for us to accept the plan and be part of a plan, right?
And a lot of the males get miseducated by listening to them guys in the street that ain't never seen a real man before.
Yeah.
They are trying to figure out how to be a real man watching women.
Come on.
Wow.
So you wonder why they so bitchy.
Talk.
They can't control their tongue because the woman ain't supposed to control her tongue. She supposed to speak up when the man falling off the track, or else he won't know.
Oh my gosh. Wait, you got to say that again, please. And then I'm going to drop a bomb. Please say it again, please. Indulge me.
I said that most of them can't control their tongue because they are acting like women who's not supposed to control their tongue, because they supposed to tell the man when he falling off the path.
You know what, Chief? One of the brothers said Nepal has it sounding like World War III in here. Okay, bombs, y'all. Shout out to the beautiful G. Yes, that was beautiful. So, women, why do these holy writings that are Abrahamic say, "Woman, be quiet. Woman, don't talk.
Okay, so this go back to the 18th dynasty of Egypt and what we call the priest war.
Okay.
The war was between the Amun priests and the Aten priests. The Amun priests is the ones who wanted the goddess and the gods to be hidden. They didn't want the mortals to know that the gods walked among them, so they created what's called self-imprisoning spells for the priestesses of the Aten. So they take over the priesthood and they teach them the wrong conjure that puts them in what we call the Amen, the unknown state.
Okay.
The God self cannot show until you give it permission. You go from Amen to Aten. The symbol for Aten is the sun at high noon.
Mm-hmm.
The symbol for Amun is the sun below the horizon.
Mhm.
Right? So this is the dung ball, the pile of shit in the earth. It has to be dug up by the scarab.
Okay. Okay.
And rolled across the earth. In other words, the scarab represents the feminine Kephra that expels the excrement in order for him to rise and become Aten. It's a blueprint, it's a star map, and it's a fairy tale, all rolled into one.
Wow.
We call it the holy drama.
The what?
The holy drama. The Abrahamic religions is the counter religions out of Babylon. To usurp the priestesses and usurp the sacerdotal seat of the sacred feminine.
Yes. Yes.
And so the origin goes back to 18th dynasty Egyptian priest wars.
Definitely. There's actually, I have an associate, well, he's an acquaintance of mine. His name is Ed Dodge. He has actually done research and everything you're saying, you just are downloading it from. Let me ask you, where are you downloading this from? Are you downloading it from where? Where is this information coming into your, let's say, your consciousness, and then you're giving it to us? How does that work?
So I have a lot of past life memories.
Okay, I knew it. It's Akashic Records, right?
And so I can go to my past life memories. The hard part is I have to find something in this life that can give you as a reference from my past life memory in order for you to be able to see that I know what I'm talking about from my past life memory.